Okay, there we go. We're live.
Okay, so hey everybody, I got my good friend Jaz with me here.
Hello.
Um, there has been a whole bunch of scuttlebutt rumors in Dylan's case in the last little bit. So I want to share it to everybody who has supported us so much and supported Dylan that you're going to hear it first from us that all of the court documents have been released. They're not quite public yet. On Box Elder, they did do a respectable move for us and let me have them first so I could share them with everybody. As we look through them and we go through them, there's definitely not enough time to go through everything. But what we do ask everybody is please respect the fact that we are not asking for speculation. We are asking for people to be educated from Dylan's case because there is so much education from canine awareness to RTT data to phone data to what the police should and shouldn't do, what the parents should and shouldn't do. There is a lot, and we just want to be the first people to send it out. I sent it to Jaz earlier, and I don't know, what'd you think about that, Jaz?
It's a lot. It's going to take a number of days to go through everything. There's a lot of documents. There's a lot of photographs. There's a lot of videos. There's a lot of information. And but more than anything, it was very interesting to me to see how huge this investigation was, and and I look forward to going through every one of these folders and looking at them.
Yeah, so let's talk about so we are going to Jazz and I are going to back up on day number 1 when Dylan went missing here next month, and we're going to give the whole story of what we went through as a family of the investigation, but now we have the court documents. So let's talk a little bit about there were so many of you mothers out here going through this. And first and foremost, everybody screams, let's get the FBI involved. Let's turn it over to a different agency. And once Jazz started helping me, we absolutely screamed about that to the point we almost shut the state of Utah down. That did not do us any good. That didn't do anything because unfortunately everybody believes the FBI agents are Billy badasses and they can come in and they can just take everything over. So I have become very close with an FBI agent through Dylan's case. Now, the FBI will definitely assist, but they cannot without request for the department. So I want to strongly urge everybody and train them that you can scream at law enforcement all you want, but you're going to get more pushback like we got. And that's not right, but it's kind of how it works. Some of this stuff in Dylan's case, I look at and I shake my head and I'm like, the dates are wrong. They don't even have the date of us calling him in missing correct. So as a parent, that is so frustrating. But unfortunately, what do we statistically say, Jazz? You sent me yesterday or this morning. How many people in the United States go missing daily?
I forgot that number. Let me go look.
Yeah, it's a lot. But over 70% of them are found alive. And so it is very hard for law enforcement to work through all this. Now, Dylan's case was a little bit different. We had his boots, they had blood on them, they wouldn't listen to us. But Dylan's is not like a lot of other cases. I encourage people reach out to us. We'll teach you how to maneuver law enforcement without alienating your loved one's case from them. It is very important we do not alienate the family from law enforcement because then you get nothing. There's a couple things on this as you have it up, Jazz. There's some stuff in the photos. I
So
think
here's
it's
the
on.
photos folder. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's on what, 500. So this is all the photos from Don Haley's camper where he hid James Brenner's guns, but I think it's 587. Um, it is right. Well, the burn barrel, there it is. These ones, yeah, 554.
I'm up to 600 now.
No, go down. You missed it. Go down. That's the green shit. It's like
Oh,
554.
you're wanting a specific number.
Yeah, like 554.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right there. Right there. So as you see the evidence markers from 1 to 10, well, and then they had to write on paper 11. So this was a specific burn barrel. We got 12. I guess they lost number 11. Imagine that.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, because now we're up to 15. So this is a specific burn barrel on Don Haley's property that us and our canine team ran on in October 2022, and Box Elder would not listen to us. May 23rd, 2023, we went back and we actually had a deputy with us from Box Elder County Sheriff's Office who listened to us, and he got a search warrant. So what you're seeing next to the numbers is actually human bone that was in Don Haley's burn barrel. So Box Elder in the state of Utah in September did go to Wyoming and interview Don Haley, and he said, I don't know. I don't think I need an attorney or immunity right now. So this is kind of a disconnect in law enforcement. It is okay to have human remains in your burn barrel. It is absolutely not okay. So on Don Haley's property, we have these human remains. That is male DNA. We don't know what happened to the rest of the tests, but he just said he had nothing to do with it, and that was enough. That's not enough. We don't have all of Dylan. This is human remains. And I want everybody to think back to June 2nd when I sat there with an officer who has become a friend of mine now, and James Brenner was gathering evidence, putting stuff into garbage bags, saying he was cleaning the shed, which is on this pictures also. I think that's towards the bottom, Jazz. And said he was spraying cleaning, but he was a complete hoarder. So there's definitely a time to scream and a time to yell and a time to try to make law enforcement pay attention, but there's definitely a better way to do it. Some of this stuff, oh, that's where Dylan was looking at that house. That's off of Dylan's phone. Some of the stuff I look at and I think, why didn't you pay attention? And so many of these people that want to come forward and analyze it, which I know is going to happen. So that is why we are out here putting it out first. It's accountability, education, awareness, and a change. And that is truly what it takes. So as all this stuff gets analyzed, right here, those ones, go back down. Right there.
What am I looking for?
One more. Go down one more. Or up. Sorry. I'm
That's
looking
okay.
at it backwards. Yeah, so right there, you see James Renner in that shed. That is image 1183.
Is that the right one? No, that's 1170.
Oh, no, that's the other one.
Yep, I'll find it.
Yeah.
1183.
Well, that was 1183, but there are pictures of the shed on it. So anyways, what I'm trying to get at is there is definitely man, there's a time to scream, but there is such a better way to do it than how I did. We didn't gain any momentum. All we gained was a whole bunch of trolls, a whole bunch of backlash, a whole bunch of people who did not care about finding Dylan. What they cared about was making money off of it. And that is still continuing on today. All these files are public knowledge. We're going to post a link. Everybody can look at them, but I want people to use them for education, not speculation. That is so important because when it's your loved one out there, and if you're a speculator, put yourself in my shoes. Put yourself in Ashley Easterling's shoes. Put yourself in Tina Bryson's shoes. Put yourself in Bailey Blunt's parents' shoes. And when you sit there and re-victimize a family, and it's not just the family, you're also re-victimizing the victim. Please don't do that. This needs to be used for education, awareness, and make a change. Jaz has been through it with me. Do you have that picture I wanted you to pop up, Jaz?
I do. Let me get it up. Give me a second.
Yep. And I am going to address this head on because I'm not in the shadows and I'm not hiding anything. And people need to see what can happen.
It might take me a minute to figure out how to get it up on the screen.
Well, so we're going to bring some education against trolls and about trolls and what the trolls can do to a case. And they can lead you through rabbit holes. And evidence is evidence and speculation is speculation. So I absolutely knew today would bring a lot of speculation. That is why we are trying to get it out there in the public view first and foremost, because I want people to hear it from me. Like, some of these documents have speculation, but that was early in the case. The bottom line is what James Brenner did to my son and James Brenner alone. Speculation it's horrible. It cripples a family.
This is taking me a minute.
That's fine. Hey, American Honey, I haven't seen you around for a while. I got the comments. And as a community of YouTubers, of streamers, of Facebookers, I really want people to stay on the positive side for these families. Please. Nothing else matters. We're talking about our kids, our husbands, our wives, cousins, uncles, aunts, whoever it may be.
There you go.
So I'm going to address this one full on. I was just sent this from a good friend of mine, Mr. X, who we all know is Jim Terry's brother. We all know who Jim Terry is in Dylan's case, and he was a troll and he was ridiculous. If you read that comment, it is so out of line and so ridiculous. Yet people still support this person and send them money. And everybody's okay with this. This is not okay. So here's the deal. I have not spoken Jim Terry's name for probably a year and a half. We had a Rolling Stones article released on him. He fortunately hasn't got to re-victimize other families since us three ladies went after him. Candice, Ashley, thank you. The Rolling Stones. But this is something that needs to be hit head on because this is what they do to families. There is nothing in these court documents that say what he is claiming is true. And the court documents aren't even completely out. That's why I wanted to get ahead of it because I knew this was coming. So this is the kind of garbage that people need to stop following. Listen to the family. Trust the family. It doesn't matter if a person's on drugs. It doesn't matter if a person's gay, if they're lesbian, if they're bisexual, if they're purple, if they're orange or green, for all I care. You find the missing people because somebody loves them. And this type of garbage needs to stop. And I will hit it head on. And I guarantee you the backlash I'm going to get from it is going to be extreme. But I laugh now. Because the only thing they can do is latch on to me and Candice and Ashley because we ruined them. And yes, Mark and Jim, I'm talking to you.
Misinformation. Latch on to
misinformation.
Misinformation. Nothing is factual.
Yep. So here's where I see it. All of these court documents released. Everybody, like I said, don't analyze, don't speculate, educate. All you true crime people out there that are good, the Mike Kinks, the Jasons, the Nate Eatons, the John Lordens. Educate yourself from Dylan's case. Try to help other families. Don't turn it into this soap opera and try to make it into something it isn't, because Dylan wasn't gay. And frankly, if he was, who cares? It doesn't matter. It's a missing person that turned into a homicide case. Why do we care what people are? Why do we care about any of it? It's a missing person.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It is not fair to families who are going through the crisis of their lifetime to exploit them with misinformation for clicks and money. And we've been over this a million times. Anybody that's followed Dylan Round's story, they know how much of a circus was created on misinformation and psychics who had ridiculous information, and none of it was factual. And it was worse. It was the worst case that I've seen ever of misinformation being spread. And go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish.
And people that did nothing but take advantage of the public for their money and for wrong information were being followed by thousands and thousands of people. And it's kind of the good versus the bad. And here we are almost 2.5 years later. Dylan's been laid to rest, and Candice and I are on a mission. We're going to help people. We don't want people to go through that. We don't want people to be wrung over the coals and lies to be told about their story and made it into this big drama event. So these photos and these documents come out, and it's good information to see what goes on during an investigation. It's great education for all of us that want to help other families. But we know that what's going to happen is that they're going to be bits and pieces are going to be taken out, and they're going to make it look like it's not. But you don't have to fall for that, because once we're allowed to, we're going to put this link out there so everybody can view it. You don't need to go watch on some YouTube channel or some other channel that's going to, give you an exclusive, because it's going to be out there for everybody, and it's going to be free. Because the one thing that Candice has stood by is using Dylan's case to educate and help. And whether that be helping through the donation of him with the canine dogs, or helping the public learn about investigations, that's what this is all about. So.
Yeah, and it really is. And, people, I get asked all the time, how do you do it? Well, there's some parents I talk to that choose not to talk about once the case is solved. And there's some parents who want to continue talking about it. And so you have to take.
So can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah, I see it.
Page 59. Let's go to what do you think?
Yeah, let's go to page 59. I don't know what box. I know Jim Terry. I don't know. Can't you guys? Page 59.
I don't see a number 59.
I think it's on the documents, and I do specifically remember this conversation with Detective Blower, and it was actually 2 days later when I fired Jim Terry, when he was yelling, "It's your effing son's fingernail marks on the brother, Wadsworth arm," and that's when I cut off all connections. So did Detective Blower ask me if Dylan was gay? He said, "Do you know your son's gay?" And I said, "No, and I don't care." At that point, all I wanted to find was Dylan. So, as I said, and that's perfect, Mountain Girl, it's just like I said today to Jazz, and so it begins. They want to analyze everything. They want to do everything. I'm sorry, guys. You're out, and I will publicly call you out, and I have. So have fun with your mask and your creepy little microphone. I am not exposed. I did not lose custody of my son, and I knew this video would call him out. Why do you guys think we wanted to do it? You think I'm hiding from you? I just really have no reason to talk to you. The focus is we use the case for education and for awareness and to fish out the trolls.
I don't see
That
anything with number 59. Plus, I don't know how anybody has these yet. So I think it can't be right.
Yeah. Well, it's fine. It's fine. Jim Terry will call into Nate Eaton, and he doesn't believe there's two Nates, just like Nate told us. And they'll
Right.
scream and they'll yell and they'll kick their feet and they'll stomp and they'll snort and they'll ask for super chats. In the meantime, Dylan's Legacy and Missing in America Network are here to help everybody, and we truly care, and we will do whatever we can to bring the awareness and the education that needs to be out there for law enforcement. I'm working very closely with a great detective out of Plano who has a app that will analyze RTT and all kinds of phone data. We are working closely with Idaho State Police, Bonneville County Sheriffs, all kinds of people. So all these trolls in the background, we just tone them out. They make us laugh. Like, it's funny.
Yeah,
Why?
they're
Why?
insignificant, actually. Absolutely insignificant.
Absolutely
They
insignificant.
don't do
They
anything
don't
to
know.
help people. So you
Yep.
know what? At this part of the game, it really makes no difference. But I don't
Yeah.
see a 59 anywhere, so I'm not sure what that's all about. We're definitely not going to talk to Jim Terry because he's very insignificant, and that's
Yeah.
just not going to be.
It's fine. He can go try to kick another football and miss it. It's no problem. The fact is so I want a few things to come out of this, and for you people who actually help families and analyze true crime in the way it should be, and there's a lot of you out there. Take the trolls aside. Please, 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 please use Dylan's case as education. Look through this file. Don't speculate. Don't try to think it wasn't James Brenner who did it. Don't try to think somebody else was involved. But please look at this case file, and not everything was released. Some stuff has been held back that I have that will never go public. I want people to be able to look at it, and let's bring some other loved ones home. And then let's talk about legislation. Look at the Bailey Blunt case. Tyler never should have been released, but he was on his own recognizance. James Brenner should have been arrested over a year before Dylan was murdered. He never should have been there to do it. How many cases do we have to look at with violent criminals that are consistently released? And so here's our problem, guys. Law enforcement agents, they don't want to arrest anybody anymore, because then the judge just turns around and says, well, I'm going to release you and I hope you appear for the next court date. I want to give everybody an example. Sitting in a courtroom in Box Elder County, oh geez, it was back in 2023. So we watched the judge. So it was grand theft, stolen cars, stolen credit cards, a bunch of stuff. And so this gentleman happened to be on the H-2A program as a farm worker, which is fine. So he actually allowed this gentleman with 4 felony counts that he could go back to Mexico for the winter as long as he returned and kept his ankle bracelet on. Well, what do you think happened as soon as he crossed the border? That's it. You cross the border, your ankle, and this is on film. This is recorded, and we just all sat there and shook our head like, okay. So then he's gonna recross the border, and I'm not talking politics or immigrants. I'm just saying an example that I seen in the courtroom. Like, no, you need to go to jail, buddy. Same thing. James Brenner, he should have been arrested. Tyler Burrow, he should have never been let out. He did want, or not want to. They did try to question him in Bailey's case. Then he lawyered up, and they said, "Okay, goodbye. We'll let you out on your own recognizance." Excuse me. This is a violent offense. So we need to stand up in our judicial system. We are the constituents. We are the ones who elect the people that make the laws. And You cannot complain about the laws if you are not an active participant on who gets elected. And I will tell you, a lot of the people in Idaho that I'm working with did not know who Dylan was. And as I've spoke with them about public safety, what is public safety? Public safety takes an army. It takes us as constituents. It takes us watching out. It takes law enforcement. It takes a judicial system. It takes more than just arresting somebody and being like, okay, we arrested him. Now he's going to get let out. So when you truly talk about public safety, it's all of us. Kevin Bibbins, his name's been released after James Brenner beat him up. He was calling in to Box Elder. He was doing public safety, saying this is where James Brenner is. Box Elder ignored it. Box Elder ignored it when we were on property we had permission to be on, and he had a felony warrant, and they were told not to execute it, even though my son's missing, and his boots are found with blood, not 150 yards from James Brenner's camper. So the whole thing boils down to public safety. So we all have a part in that. So let's play our part. Let's get active. Let's be proactive, not reactive.
Yeah, that's right. There's, how many people can we save from being harmed in the future by putting criminals behind bars and not letting them out, and holding police accountable for when there is someone with a warrant, that they actually act on that warrant and not wait for something bad to happen, because we've seen it happen way too often where they hurt somebody again.
And over and over and over. It's a pattern. So, we figure it out. And I want everybody with missing children, anybody who needs help, please reach out to us. If you're lost, I talked to 3 mothers today. Please reach out to us. See, sometimes we can't be a assistance as much as we want to be. Sometimes I'm just a shoulder to cry on because I've been there. I run everything. Jaz is so amazing with their graphics. If anybody needs graphics, go to this lady. It's amazing when you get the support. There's a lot of times I've reached out and Jaz has helped me. I don't know if a lot of people know, but Jaz wrote Dylan's obituary. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I couldn't get through it. I wrote his life sketch. I did all the pictures. I could not get through the obituary. My whole Word document said Dylan Jamie Rounds. And when I reached out to Jaz and said, I can't get through this, she sent me this amazing thing that captured Dylan perfect. And then, of course, Dylan's cow dog Hank just finished it off with eating the chickens at the celebration of life. We are here to help in whatever way we can.
Yeah, I think that that's one of the most important messages that we always want to get across. You're not alone. And you're being loved. You are not alone. There is plenty of people out there that will help you. And if it's not something that, that we have the ability to help with, we may know somebody that can help you. We may be able to match you up with a great other organization. But we definitely want families to know they're not alone.
No, you're never alone. And we're here to support, first of all, the victim. The victim comes first. After the victim is the victim's family, and we will never re-victimize anyone regardless of the circumstances. We are not the evil trolls out there who just seem that he cannot get out of this chat because now he's mad. We're not those people. We let it roll tonight to give everybody an example. Please don't go to these people. Come to safe organizations. Come to safe news outlets. Come to mainstream media. I know how desperate families feel when you're lost and you're missing your child and you are just man, you're desperate. And as parents, we feel psychotic. And I've had many of these conversations with Jazz. I can remember what I had or I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but I can remember the day Dylan was born. And all the speculations that all these people did to me. Oh, Candice lost custody. Candice did this. Candice did that. Um, if you go on to Dylan Round's Facebook, Dylan's Legacy, you will see from the day he was born until a month before he died, I had a picture with him. But this is what these people do to you. They re-victimize you and they re-victimize the victim. Please don't let that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I ask you about something in here? I don't even know if you've seen what I've seen in these documents, but I did see something in here that I wasn't aware of. And I'm pretty sure you probably are. But did you know about a rag that was found in the desert that was tested?
Yes. It actually wasn't in the desert. It was in the shop.
Was it?
Well, so if there was another rag in the desert, that would have been Ty Corbin. So he planted stuff all the way behind us. When Ty Corbin got involved in Dylan's case, and we'll get more into this when we do the whole story of the case, you remember, like, they planted watermelon, they planted Coke, because Dylan's favorite meal, John Deere hats, sweatshirts, they planted so much stuff and then called it in as evidence. And to try to do what? To try to get some accreditation, to try to be credible with law enforcement? No. But they did, I will say, once Box Elder got on board a couple months later, they did check into everything. When we recovered the burn barrel, when they did the warrant for that, Ty Corbin was obviously out there watching us. And then the next day, the exact road that we were on, it just so happened that him and his girlfriend and somebody else went out and they found this old John Deere hat. And it's still. So yes, Detective Moore drove out, picked it up. It was totally planted. We were all right there. This is re-victimizing the family and re-victimizing the victim to get credibility in what? In what? Nothing anybody found besides us as a family in the early days has ever come into play in Dylan's case, ever. Nothing all the trolls did, nothing all the craziness did. They were all wrong, and they were so ridiculously stupid. It led us down rabbit holes, and it took away precious time. I still to this day will stand by, I'm glad they did. Because guess what? Now I can educate other families and teach other families how not to go through this. So I'm okay with it. I've been strong enough to withstand it. So we're just going to roll with it and try to educate everybody. Keep the victims. The victims. At the end of the day, we are all still standing here breathing. Our missing loved ones, our murdered loved ones, they're not standing here breathing. So we are their voices, and we need to be strong and stand strong for them.
I was just looking over these. So this is about the burn barrel. This is
Yeah.
That's what.
Well, that's yep.
Yeah,
That's the one that was in October. That they finally listened to us in May, and thank you, Lieutenant Eddington, if you're listening, because he was like, I'm getting a search warrant. I'm like, finally, thank you, somebody's listening. We emailed the reports. Our K9 team emailed the reports. I called and called and called. Our K9 leader called and called and called. They completely disregarded it. Well, guess what? You've seen the pictures of the bones. It's in the report. Imagine if we would have had that in October. They might have been identifiable. Now we just know it's male DNA. And let's be honest, all of this stuff that people have put out about Lucien and it's terrible and it's desolate, I want to tell everybody, Lucien is 75 miles from me over the mountain. You can only drive over the mountain in the summer. Obviously, it's Idaho and there's snow. It's not desolate, and it's not Lucien. And Simplot, the biggest farmers in the state of Idaho, farmed it for years. Why do you think there was wells? Why do you think it was already developed? All Dylan had to do was re-break the ground. It's not desolate. It's just desert. I live in a desert. Jazz, you live in a desert. I mean, people are stupid when they think that. Dylan wasn't thrown out anywhere. Dylan was living his dream. And he would have accomplished it all had not James Brenner came into the picture a year after Dylan was there, because he wasn't there in the beginning.
I know there's pictures somewhere in here. I'm going to scroll and try and find them of Dylan's farm.
Well, I got all the ones from when I flew over it.
Yeah, I just had seen some in here though. One of the times I was going through them, I'm pretty sure. What is this? Is this a picture off of Dylan's phone? That's cool.
I don't know. I don't think so. Well, I mean, it's not one I got off of his phone. I don't know if it's somebody saying where they're at. It's not. Well, you have all the pictures off of Dylan's phone too, and that's not something I seen.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it before. I hadn't seen it before.
But like this stuff, so a lot of this is, all the files. And like I said, I encourage all of you people, you true crimers, you people who actually want to do good, please look at them. Please learn from them. Please use them with families that you might be working with. And if you don't know what to do with a family, please send them our way. There is so much education from this case. And like I said, it is not all released. This is not everything. I have a lot more private stuff that I will use for law enforcement training that will never get released. And
So
sorry.
what are we doing here? Are these blacked out photos of when Dylan was found?
Yes, that's Dylan's remains. Yep.
Of the little black spots.
Yep.
Yep. That's what I thought.
Yeah. But I mean, if we want to be honest about the situation, let's be frank here. My husband and I and Dylan's father, we went back and we excavated more of the grave, which Box Elder did not. And we found more Dylan's remains on our own. We were happy enough with an identification because they had the bottom mandible and the skull. If that was one of their children in the sheriff's office, do you think that would have been enough? Absolutely not. So I think we ended up with probably 45% of Dylan. We did donate part to the canine team to train off of, which is freaking fabulous. Everybody needs to do that. I mean, if you want to be cremated, we have forms you can fill out, like lob off an arm and give it to a canine team, because the unspoken words here is everybody wants a canine to find their loved one, but nobody wants to talk about they got to train off of human remains.
Yeah, it's not something I ever thought about. I never knew.
No, nobody ever does. Yeah, so we have so much education, guys. We're gonna put a link to this. We want people to build off of this. We want to build a trusted foundation. We are going to completely. We wanted to start in October, but I think we're going to have to push to November, Jazz. We want to completely put Dylan's whole case out there, because this is the tip of the iceberg. This doesn't even cover a tenth of what we went through. And our biggest thing is so that's from Bonneville County. That's when they took the into Bonneville County, because Box Elder never did. So let's not get sidetracked with what all this stuff is. I want everybody to look at it. I will be going and meeting with Jazz, and we will sit and talk about everything. And we encourage you guys, look through this. educate yourselves. If you see something that's a decent question besides, oh, Dylan was gay, if there's
Yeah.
something that people see that we don't, please bring it to our attention and let's talk about it and let's say why it is or isn't of importance. Because maybe in a case it is, and maybe in Dylan's it isn't, but let's converse, let's bring out some awareness, let's bring out some education, and try to do the best we can for everybody that's missing, because they all deserve to be found.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll post this link on Dylan's Legacy Facebook, on Missing in America Network, and all the
Once
other.
we're able to, we don't know if it's went live yet or not. So
Well, I think it is. Well, I don't know
I
if it
couldn't find
is,
it.
but
I couldn't find it.
yeah, but it doesn't matter. I have it, so that's at my discretion. That
Okay.
link we have is live, so let's put it out there. And please, you guys that have been great supporters, trolls aside, whatever they're gonna do, what they're gonna do, we don't really care. Let's look at this and let's see if we can learn something, and help bring some others home.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, we'll go ahead and we'll post it, and we'll have a
Yes.
whole post going there on Dylan's Legacy, and so we can continue the discussion there. I'm sure
Yes.
y'all know about that group. It's Dylan's Legacy on Facebook. It's the group, the official group, and so we'll start something off there, and we can continue the conversation.
Yeah.
And maybe in the next little bit, maybe we'll have to come on again and discuss something once we get a chance to actually go through it all and see
Yeah.
what's in there.
Yeah, so I've only had these for 3 hours now,
Yeah.
and I've done nothing but nonstop interviews getting ahead of the trolls, so they don't get the exclusive like you and I have talked, Jazz. They don't
Right.
get all that. So yeah, so we're open to conversing.
Nobody-
We're open to questions. Keep it respectful and keep it with the victims in mind. And we will be happy to answer anything to the best of our knowledge, because we're going to give you guys everything that we see. And maybe we'll miss something that I want to know that I missed.
Yeah.
So
It
we'll
takes
go from there.
everybody to help families.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah,
I
we'll
just
go
want to
from there.
mention one more time, there's going to be no exclusives. It's going to be out there for everybody. You don't have to watch
Yes.
garbage to get in on the scoop. Candice wants it to be put out there so that there's no crazy lies and stuff going on. So we'll see you all
Yeah.
on Dylan's Legacy page. Thanks for tuning
Yes.
in.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.
All right,
Bye.
bye.